Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort. We're your host, Dominic Dougherty and Drew Fasy.
And we are your local guys back on StreamYard.
Yes, bear with us, everyone, as we go through a platform change. We tested out another platform, didn't work for us, so we're coming back to StreamYard with everything going on at the local newspaper and OCNJ media. Haven't had a time to get this all underway. So we're going to take a step back in order to take 5 or 6 step forwards here in the next coming months. So stay tuned. Big things coming for the podcast. We're super excited about what we got in the works for you, and we hope that you'll like it. Actually, we don't hope because hope walks through the fire and faith leaps over it. We know you'll like it because it's all good stuff.
Nice, Dom.
So, well, listen, today, very interesting podcast. How the sausage is made. Everybody comes to Ocean City in the summertime, and it's a beautiful place. The beaches are combed every morning. The boardwalk is, all the boards are nailed down, so no one gets splinters.
Trash cans are empty.
Yeah, the sky
Roads
is
are in good
blue.
shape. Yeah.
Everything is perfect all the time when you come to Ocean City in the summertime. It takes a lot of work, though. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that happen here in the off season. And this off season, there is no shortage of projects going on here in Ocean City to prepare for another beautiful 2026 summer season. So I think the big project, and I think the project we should kind of lead off with here, Drew, is the project that I'm seeing all over social media and all the channels, and that is the boardwalk renovation that's taking place in the north end of the boardwalk. So as always, Drew has done his homework and research. I have showed up late, last minute, with really nothing to contribute as far as factual information goes in the podcast. But
you're
here I
pretty
am.
and you have a nice haircut, Dom. So let's go with that.
Well, pretty, I don't know. Getting old. I got all this new lighting and stuff here in the studio, and I'm like, oh man, I need to get a makeup person because my skin is not what it once was. So
So it's a big project in
it
terms
is a big
of
project.
visibility, but the first phase is really on the lower end of some of the other projects going on in terms of cost. So
Oh,
the
that's good.
Yeah, so the it's boardwalk reconstruction from St. Charles Place to Fifth Street. And if you're not down, if you haven't seen it, it's gone. The entire boardwalk is gone. The substructure, everything, it's all being rebuilt. There's a separate project that'll take place next year from 14th to 16th Street, but that's next year. So it has begun. The demolition is pretty much done, I believe, and they're going to rebuild it. Now, this will be done completed by Easter. So, as everyone knows, Easter weekend at the shore is a big kind of
It's a big
opening.
deal.
It's a big deal. It's an
Yeah.
opening weekend for the season for a lot of people, for snowbirds, for second homeowners, and a lot of visitors. A lot of people come to Ocean City that weekend. So this project will be completed. And here's the good news, Dom. The total cost for the project is $4.2 million. And the city received a grant um, for $4.9 million. The
Sweet.
grant was received from the New Jersey Boardwalk Preservation Fund. So we got 700 grand to play with here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you said St. Charles to Fifth Street. That means the part of the boardwalk down there at St. Charles Place where you have that, denser wood that's been there for 30 years is not getting touched.
Well,
So
actually, a section of that is.
Okay.
but it is being preserved and reinstalled. Glad you
All right.
brought that up.
Yeah, that makes sense because that wood was installed, you know, uh, about 10 years ago when I was a kid, and no, more like 30 years ago when I was a kid, and it's still absolutely perfect down there.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so we can talk about that and why we didn't do that for the whole boardwalk, maybe when we talk about the next project, which is the $30 million block that we got going on at 16th and Haven. We've done an episode on this in the past, so we're not gonna, you know,
Beat that to death.
yeah. Needless to say, though, in the meantime, the city's still trying to figure out what they're going to do with that property. They have decided, though, to upgrade it so that it does not look like a parking lot anymore. So,
Yeah.
what's going on there, Drew?
So what we're talking about is the full city block between 16th and 17th, between Haven and Simpson. It was the former car dealership that was there. There was also, at one point in time, I believe it was a dry cleaners on that site. And the reason I bring that up was because there was remediation that had to be done on that site for
What is it?
contamination.
What is it with dry cleaners and contamination? Because they took down the Redmond Hall down the street from me, and it was the same thing.
Yeah,
Like you had to completely like mediate or mitigate or whatever the fancy environmental word is, that whole block before they could do anything.
yeah. It must be a chemical that, or chemicals that they use in the dry cleaning process that they
Glad I wear
contaminate
t-shirts
water.
every day.
Yeah. So that has been done. So the city, now keep in mind, there's actually three parcels there. And after a long, extended legal battle, the city ended up paying about $20 million for the primary parcel, and then paid an additional 7.2 million for the other two parcels in that block to take control of that whole city block. It's various things there, blacktop and dirt after the remediation. So the city is spending a little more than $1 million. They're going to put curbs in. They're going to put sidewalks in, and they're going to put sod in to the tune of about $1 million. And they sort of, from a safety and um, from a safety perspective.
Beautification issue too.
Well, certainly the sod is a temporary beautification, but the curbs and sidewalks would have to be put in no matter what they do, right?
Yeah,
And from a safety perspective and a liability perspective, they're putting them in. And then really there hasn't been any final decision on what that will be long term. Will it be grass forever as a park? I doubt it. But for the time being, it's getting sod. It'll be beautified, um, and then the city will decide what they want to do with that property.
cool. Very
Yep.
cool. Well, I'll
So
take advantage of it this summer.
yeah, that's underway.
Maybe we
Another
can host a creative kids market there or something. That would be fun.
well, maybe there'll be another. What do they have at the Tabernacle on Wednesdays?
The farmers market.
Farmers market. I know there was some talk of having a second day farmers market at the south end. I don't know that I would call that south end, but it would be a great location for it in terms of proximity and parking and space. So
maybe rent an inflatable movie screen and get like some movies in a yard or something out there, or something for people to do.
Yeah.
I don't know, Drew. We're a plethora of ideas here.
Yeah.
So
can
we get them done though? Can we get them done?
Right. From a total dollar perspective, that's the biggie.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we won't even mention that total dollar perspective, even though we did, but we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So
Another big one that is moving along pretty nicely and quickly is the police substation and
yes,
public safety building on 8th Street.
yeah,
So if you haven't seen that, it's on the north side
north,
of 8th Street, just behind the row of stores on the boardwalk. So you have a row of stores, um, and then you have uh, a little small parking area for those stores, and then you have the new substation. And for a government project, that thing moved at warp speed. I don't think I've ever seen a government project move so fast. So the cost of that is $6.13 million. Started this year. It's slated to be completed in the next few months, and it has
yeah.
direct access to the boardwalk by way of an extended ramp.
Yeah,
Um,
they're building that right now. They're actually rebuilding the access ramp on that side of the boardwalk, and you can see where right off that ramp there's an offshoot that you can basically walk right into the substation. There's
right.
also a I think 5 or 6 garages below for vehicles. So it's a pretty massive building. It's got a nice big elevator tower in it.
And
Uh,
beautiful. They did a beautiful job on it.
yeah, it looks awesome. You know, living on 8th Street and going down to take sunrise pictures and stuff, I ride past it almost every day. And the progress there has been, quite quick. And
Warp speed,
looking,
man.
yeah, looking forward to getting that one open. That'll be nice, especially because the city, you know, said they might purchase the Crown Bank, then came out and said they're not going to purchase the Crown Bank. So I have a feeling that before they build their new facility, that investment that they made is going to get a lot of use, which is good.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And, we always talk about it. Safety is one of the reasons people come here. So to make an investment in that, no matter what the dollar amount is, I think it's worth it, especially when, response times in the city are under 2 or 3 minutes. I don't think people really appreciate how valuable that is in a life threatening emergency, to know that you're going to make that call and in less than 5 minutes somebody's going to be at your door there to help you, who has advanced medical training. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's awesome.
Polls for years and years have said that Ocean City's top attributes are safe, clean, and dry. Those are the top three.
Those sound like good things in any situation, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially dry. Especially dry.
Yep.
And then there's another big project going on. This one hasn't started yet, though, has it? The one down at the airport.
No. So yes, that is on the list. And I actually learned something, and I hope I'm correct. This might be one of my little nuggets, but I was reading. So a couple years ago, 2022, I believe, the owner of Berger Realty, Leon Grisbaum, wanted to donate $3 million to rebuild the airport structure. Um, the city has that in their capital plan, and so they're going to tear down the existing building. The existing building used to have a restaurant. It's got a little bit of a pro shop for the golf course, and it's got a little area for the airport. And they're going to build, a 14,000 square foot terminal with 3,800 square feet of exterior porch and observation deck. It will include a third floor restaurant and it will have space for the golf course. Now that is a $6 million project, 3 million of which is coming from Leon Grisbaum. But I just learned that the city has received an additional 2.2 million in an FAA grant. Now, what the conditions are on that grant, if there are any, I don't know. I didn't get into the weeds on that, but that goes, that takes the facility, the cost of to the city from 3 million down to $800,000.
Wow.
Which I think is going to be way more palatable to a lot of non-pilots in town, right?
Well, honestly, from what I remember about the project is all of that money was going directly to the terminal and none of it was going to the hangars. I say, why not kick some of that 2.2 and upgrade your hangars, and then you've got an upgraded terminal, you've got upgraded hangars. You can really start to bring in some pretty interesting guests here when you have that kind of facility for people to come into. Just
I
saying.
no, I agree, Dom. And there's certainly some merit to that. I heard someone talking about it, and they didn't feel, and this was a pilot. They didn't feel that the city should spend a lot of money on the hangars, only because it's a very transient type airport, and a lot of planes wouldn't stay for periods of time. Now,
I think any
I'm not
improvement
I'm
is
not a
good.
pilot, so I don't know, and I don't know the condition of the hangars, or I don't have any details there. But I did hear that from someone who was a pilot and thought that was an interesting take on it.
Look, say what you will about New Jersey politics and it's election day when we're recording this and all this stuff. The one thing that I think that Murphy has done well is position New Jersey in the film and entertainment industry. You got Netflix building $1 billion facility. I saw Paramount is bringing in a stadium as well too. Ocean City has a real opportunity here if they do upgrade that airport to, hey, these people got to come in. They got to stay somewhere. I know that Spielberg filmed over in Tuckahoe, and a lot of those individuals stayed here. You upgrade those facilities, you're going to have a lot of different eyes
That's
in
a
Ocean City.
that's a great point, Dom, and you're
You know?
right. I hate to give Phil Murphy credit for anything, but you're absolutely right. And that's a really good
Oh,
point.
I thought you were going to say you hate to give me credit for anything. I was like, oh,
No,
you're making fun of me because I actually had a half decent idea here. I'm
no,
surprised.
you have a lot of good ideas. I don't like to give Phil Murphy any credit. And hey, yeah, you're right. The Hollywood types, they're flying jets, man.
Yeah, and they're
They're not,
coming in.
they're not
They
coming
don't
in
want to go in.
sevens.
No, they don't want to come into AC. They don't want to come in anywhere. And we're the only barrier island that has an airport,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
definitely
so we'll
something to
see. That
capitalize.
I did read that Council President Crowley made the statement that he would really like to get that project, uh, you know, uh, uh, shovel ready. So I
Yeah.
believe it's still in the planning stages. I believe. So we'll see when they put the shovel in the ground on that one.
Well, maybe we should stop debating about rezoning and start putting shovels in the ground and getting some, interesting opportunities here for Ocean City.
Well, on that topic, so there's a couple of things. There's actually a lot, but in a boring category is the roads and drainage. So there's a lot of roads and drainage projects going on this winter, as there always are.
Yeah.
And I laugh because people will come down for a weekend or a week and complain about the traffic, but you don't really know until November, when you're trying to go 1 mile and you have to make 7 turns to get around all the road projects in town. I mean,
Yeah.
it can be a little frustrating when to get to the Acme, I have to go over to Summers Point and back. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but right, Dom. I mean,
No, I agree.
yeah,
It's much
crazy.
needed though, because
Oh yeah,
with all the development and things that are taking place here, like the roads get chewed up, and it's better than, feeling like you're driving over a speed bump every block, because of all the new gas connects and sewer connects and all the stuff that gets put in. It
I have
is,
a solution for that, by the way, but I'm not going to go there right now. I have a
yeah.
simple solution, but
What, coordinate it so you do it all at once and just
yeah,
call it a day?
if the city is repaving a city block, then all the utilities should be forced to put their stub outs in at that time.
Yeah,
It would be cheaper for the utilities. It would be an incentive, like for the gas company. By the way, as an
yeah,
example, if a house doesn't have gas and all of a sudden they have a stub out in their front yard, they might be more likely to get natural gas to their house, right? So it would be
yeah,
a benefit to them, and our roads would last. We put these roads in, and they have a 30-year shelf life, and at any time they're opened up for any reason, that 30-year shelf life goes down to a 15-year shelf life. So we'd be saving over time. We'd be saving millions of dollars if we force the utilities to put their stub outs at every property on the block.
hey,
That's just me. I know that
I've lived
common
in my
sense
house
and
for 10 years, and I think this will be the fourth time they're going to repave my road.
yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. All right, so let's move on to our last project, or last substantial project, I should say, which is the Sandcastle Park at 34th and West. So if you know that park and playground,
Yeah.
Sandcastle Park replaced an old park. I actually worked on building Sandcastle Park. It was designed by the citizens, and then built by the citizens with help. And then that was an old wooden one that was torn down and rebuilt. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. So you also have
Basketball
tennis
courts, tennis
courts,
courts.
basketball courts, you have bathrooms, but there's a lot of wasted space on that property.
I agree.
Yeah, a lot of wasted space. So the city has redesigned the entire block, and they are rebuilding it. And in addition to what's already there, tennis courts, basketball courts, playground, and a small building, uh, everything's being replaced, but with the addition of 6 pickleball courts that are going to be located right on the 34th Street side. The playground is going to be moved a little bit south, so it'll be pickleball along the south side, then the actual playground, then the building and basketball courts, and then tennis courts, and it's all going to be new. Uh, Pretty big price tag. I got two numbers, and I'm not really sure which one is which, but it's going to be between 6.5 and 7.5 million dollars to remodel that entire block. But the city was approved by the Cape May County Open Space Commission and received the largest grant that they allow, which is 2.5 million. So at the higher number of 7.5 million, the county open space is paying a full third of that. So that's pretty good. Got to give the city credit for all of the grants that they go after and receive. And this is just these 6 projects, almost all of them got grant money, but this is just a drop in the bucket compared to what they get.
Yeah, no, it's like we said, it's why we title it "How the Sausage is Made," because a lot goes in to make this America's greatest family resort. And the city has started to do something that's pretty neat. Actually, I think it's called Inside City Hall, where Jay is kind of giving a weekly insight into the teams and what's going on and what's happening. So if you haven't seen that yet, I think it's like oceancityvacation.com or OCNJ US on their social media. They'll put out a little episode each week as to, hey, here's what's going on in the town this week. Here's the people that are doing the things that need to get done. And it's a pretty cool little segment to see.
It is a pretty cool little segment.
Yeah.
So Dom, that's really all I have for the time being, and we probably want to wrap up. But do we want to give any shout outs?
I was actually thinking that because I was going back through because I thought we had titled something "How the Sausage is Made" before, but we didn't. Hopefully, because I didn't see it. Why don't we figure out a time and record those? Because there's a lot going on in town.
There is.
Athletically, there's a lot going on. Kids are getting scholarships. There's all kinds of good stuff happening in town.
Yeah, so let's do that. Let's get back to recording
some Sunday shout outs.
Sunday shout outs. Yeah, because we could spend some time on that.
Yeah, we might have to break it up into 2 parts this week because there's definitely been a lot happening here this fall. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with us as we go through this platform change and, keep following along because, like we said in the beginning, there's plenty of good things happening. This has been the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort. Peace.
Peace.
Did pretty good for not recording in a while. I think that was a good one.